Okay, we'll pick up where we left off. And to evaluate these points, because the 7/4 is in there, if it weren't for the 7/4, it would probably be a lot easier. Not that that's so complicated. You can square 7/4, and that's just 49/16, um, which you would use 2 times or in that particular calculation. But anyway, let me go ahead and show you how I would do this using my calculator. So we start with the calculator in home position, and we're going to go to y equals. And we're going to type in the original function there, which is 3x to the 4th power plus x to the 3rd power minus 21x to the 2nd power. And so we have the function in there in y1. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the home screen, and I'm going to reference that function and treat it as a function. So I go to variables, y variables, function, and y1. Put in parentheses, I'm going to type in -2, close parentheses, enter, and it gives me the value for y1 of -2. I plug in 0 here, which we already know that to be 0. Go over. I went back. If you didn't catch what I did, is I recalled the previous command by doing second and enter. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to 0 there, and enter gives me a 0 as I expected. Second and enter recalls the last command. I'm going to go over and put in 7/4 now. 7 divided by 4, close paren, enter, and that gives me a -30.81, etc., etc. So I'm going to take a minute and write this information down. Okay, so I had negative for f, and I'll show the calculator so that you can see those values there. 0 for f of 0, and -30.816 for f of 7/4. Now on an AP test, you're usually going, when you do use your calculator and when you do have decimals, you're going to round that to 3 decimal places. So we have -30.816. And so we can see that the absolute minimum value was f of -2, and the value was the location was at x equals -2, and the absolute minimum value was -44. And I just put the final comment that since this is not a closed interval, endpoints do not need to be checked. All we needed to do was to test the original function at each of the critical values, and we found the lowest of those would be the absolute minimum, and so that occurred at f of -2, and the absolute minimum value of the function was -44. So just another note here, it says to find the absolute minimum value of f. So it doesn't say what is the x-coordinate where the absolute minimum occurs, or find the x-coordinate of the absolute minimum. It says find the absolute minimum value, and so it's looking for -44, which would be the correct answer there. Or you could say -2 comma -44. Alright, I will go on to the part C in the next video, since we probably don't have time to complete that in this one.